So this is cerulean blue, phthalo blue. It doesn't matter if red shade or green shade. This is green shade. Ultramarine violet for toning down colors if we need to, and white. So the first layer, we take phthalo blue and a bit of maybe cerulean, just for the phthalo blue not to be too turquoisey. And then we'll go in and then we'll just put a layer over what we've done already in the same movement of the waves, like the same movement we want. And I'll show you in a minute. We're going to change the color a bit. It won't be all blue. And then I'm going to take white, add it to the same color I've been using. Make sure that your brush is a bit wet, not too dry, and add white slowly. I mean, like mid-tone right now, not highlight, mid-tone. We need a couple of layers before we start highlighting properly. And then I'm just going to go in and then move my brush with the same movement of the water. Especially in the front here, we have a nice wave in the front. So there we go, more water on my brush, and then just go in and yeah. Now here we need a bit more, not too choppy, a bit more color. But the nice thing about this project, we're doing the water right now. It doesn't matter what we get. It's going to look good. It doesn't matter how we do the water. It's going to look good. So because of the movement of the water. So I added another layer of glaze of phthalo blue, and then I'm putting white, and I'm going to go over, and then just and we're going to change the color a bit as well in a minute, so it's not going to be all blue. Trying to see if we can leave some of this part having lights and darks, like a bit of the dark showing. Change brushes. This is a wide brush. I'm going to wet it a bit. Take phthalo and white. And then give this a wider brush stroke in here. See in a minute, it will look much better once we add the white part of the wave. And we're going to go back to the smaller brush. Again, pick up some phthalo blue. And that will help. What I'm doing right now will help with wetting the surface, the canvas, which would be easier. Then it'll be easier to highlight. It doesn't matter how we are getting, how we're ending, you know, how it ends up being looking. If it's too light, we'll darken it. If it's too dark, we'll highlight it. So we can always glaze it. I'm going to take a bit of ultramarine violet and add white at this point, and then all around the boat. I'm adding white, ultramarine violet, and then I'm just putting a bit more of a, needs a bit more ultramarine there. And again, don't worry about the boat. If we get, we get a bit more water on it, like the waves on it, we can always clean it up and fix it up with a bit of more put the color back. Whatever we use for the boat, we can put it back. Okay. So this is, this teal color is phthalo blue and cadmium yellow light with white. So cadmium yellow light in the phthalo blue turns phthalo blue into a bright, bright green. When you add white, you can adjust your color at that point. If you want it more on the green side, that's perfect. If you want it more on the blue side, then add more blue. So what I did right now is I added more blue to this combination of color. And I'm going to go in and just kind of glaze. I'm just cleaning my brush here to get more of a kind of a watercolor. Very glaze, thin layer. And I don't want to lose the blue. I'm going to go back and adjust the blue in a minute. I just didn't want to see only blue in here. The more colors we add, the nicer it looks. So I'm going to go back, push or pull a bit more phthalo blue in here. I'm in there. Oh, wow, that's beautiful. That is a beautiful color. Come here. Again. So the reason I go back from blue to green to blue, because you can see those colors. It looks like we're covering completely, but we're not. These colors show through. You will see some green, then you'll see some white, some blue. It's nicer than seeing only one color. You'll see. Now it looks funny, but once we start adding some good, nice detail for the waves, it will look fantastic. This is just the first layers, just the mass color, the big colors. And the more we add, the nicer it looks, the deeper it looks. The more colors we introduce, or layers, I should say, of paint, it will look deeper, more beautiful, and much more interesting. This is a wide, not a big round brush. So I'm going back and forth between blue and green. In the back, kind of back, I'm not, I just want to have that movement. And then I can put waves on top of this. Clarence used to be really good at that. Remember Clarence? Anyone?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. He was good at seascapes and ships.
Is he not painting now, or?
I don't know. Clarence wanted me to let him know if, in September, if I have in class.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a bit soon to tell.
Too
soon to tell, I think.
Yes. I'm going to calm this water down a bit in the back here. All right. Awesome. Beautiful, beautiful, nice. I love this, getting movement just by switching colors back and forth, and adding layers gives it depth. Awesome. Watch what your brush is doing. Sometimes the brush will do the trick for you, and you don't really have to do too much. you know, how you put your brush stroke sometimes. We'll be just putting a couple of brush strokes and you'll get a wonderful movement. If your brush is well trained,
Mhm. Hmm.
you know, I'm highlighting a bit this area, just a bit right here. And then I'm going to go back. This makes me feel like I want to go to the beach. This painting. So I have right now brown brush. It has it has water on it, so it's my colors are very glazy, watered. And I'm with the tip of my brush. I'm just gonna have. I'm looking at the sea itself, the painting itself, the reference, not the painting, the reference picture. And I'm just going to go a bit by what I see. So the ones in the back, I'm just going to do. I'm just following what the movement. This is the first layer of whites that we're going to put. That's why the whites I'm putting right now are not really white. It's not 100% white.
So it should have a little bit of the other mix in it? Is that what?
Yeah, it should have either blue or the what is it called?
The sea foam.
Sea foam, yeah.
Okay.
Might have to change my brush into a smaller one because this big one is giving me a wide. Yeah, the smaller one is better. And whatever I need to, if I need to adjust, there's no problem. I go back to the colors I have and I can adjust. I will be putting more white, but slowly. Up, down, movement. Now go back. Have my wider, bigger brush ready with darker blues. And just clean up a bit. Soften. Shouldn't those blues that I have, or the what I was trying to put, those wavy white, shouldn't be choppy and how do I say that? Dry. Yeah, it should be like that. More wet paint and thinner. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Let's go back to this side. The white in the back is darker usually. Whatever movement in the back is usually darker. The ones in the front are lighter. Now, I get to this part and add more white. Now I'm getting into a bit more detail that's not in there, just because I think it would look much nicer if we have that detail in here. Now, whatever I find a bit too strong, I can glaze later on. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about any of these colors being strong or too white or looking funny, because it's okay. I can always glaze and change. I just have to put those colors and then see what happens. I'm glazing back, softening a bit. That's good. This is just cerulean and white, whatever I have here. Just happen to have more cerulean now because I used up all of my phthalo. Okay, good. All right, now, what I did here with this little thing on the boat. I don't want to show it too much. So I did white, I took white and ultramarine violet. And I did a kind of a first layer with white and ultramarine violet all over. Then I highlighted this part only with the same, but more with more white than ultramarine violet. Now I'm going to go back and there. Go back to ultramarine violet and white. I'm going to increase the amount of white now and then highlight just the front. There. For the houses in the back, I'm going to take a little, if you want to put them, I'm going to take ultramarine violet and white. And we can put a suggestion of a little houses in the back. Let's try. Like little dots. If you want, you don't have to if you don't feel like it. Now, since I have a small brush with me, I'm going to put some same idea. A bit of thinner lines of white here and there. It's nice because you don't have just big brush strokes. You also have small ones in between. I'm just adding a bit of white in here, strong white. The round brush. I find doing those waves easier if they're done on wet. So if the blue is wet and then you add the white on top, it's smoother, it's softer, it has depth. But if the actual first layer is completely dry and then you put the white on top or the light highlight on top, it's a little bit harsher.